Hello, this is Jordan from JPEG Photo School Free. This video is about the debate for RAW versus JPEG, and I hope it clears that debate up for you a little bit and proves to you why RAW is better than JPEG. Let's look at these first two pictures. This first one here on the left on the top is the raw image of a dinosaur that's against a little backdrop, a black backdrop. But that's not really important. The important thing is that you see the picture. The highlights are blown out. I wanted to make it as bad a picture as possible, so you could kind of see where I was coming from. Okay, the one on the right is a JPEG version, which is actually, if you look at it, pretty much, it's kind of a better version because the the highlights aren't as blown, and it has a little bit more detail even. But you'll notice that once I start to edit this, that the RAW edits way better than the JPEG. So let's go to our first example of that, white balance. I shot this on a really high, very warm white balance. Okay, so let's go back to a normal exposure. Now this one is the raw version. If you notice, all the colors are starting to come back and they look normal, which is how they're supposed to look. And yeah, so you can see the colors are that's how they're supposed to look. Now if you look at the JPEG version, look how these colors pretty much lost everything. Like, it's green, like everything's sort of green in the background. It's like too much bluish, like, I don't know, it just, the colors are just all gone, all drabbed out to this greenish hue. And then when we turn the colors all the way up, not all the way up, but we'll turn the saturation up a good fair amount, and you'll be able to see that when we do that, you can see the red in the eye of the raw version. You can see the red in the eye, the greens are green, the browns are brown, the oranges are orange. It's just pretty much got all its characteristics. But when we turn the JPEG version up, it looks like green diarrhea, just like really bad diarrhea. And that's the white balance. So if you're going to try to fix your white balance with a JPEG, it's not really going to give you the colors that you need. Another thing we can look at is turning the exposure all the way down. Now, this is the raw version with the exposure all the way down, and the raw version with the exposure all the way down looks pretty good, because if you remember, this was shot really, really bright, so since there was a lot of blown highlights, the recovery of the highlights is pretty good for the raw. So you still have a lot of detail, even though the saturation's all the way, or the exposure's all the way down. Now we'll go to the JPEG version, and if you see on the JPEG version, the highlights did not capture well. It's just, I don't know. It's just, you can tell the difference when I put the two together. You can see what's wrong with them. And I'll just give you one last example of the blown highlights and how I was able to recover detail with the RAW more than JPEG. This is the RAW version with, and I use Lightroom 3 for my editing, so my recovery and all that is done with Lightroom 3. If you use another program, it might not give you as good as results, but pretty much if you're not using Lightroom 3, your results might vary, so just keep that in mind. But okay, so this is the normal picture after it's been edited, and then if I take the recovery all the way down, you see how the difference in the detail in the lighter areas, how the recovery just recovers all that detail and brings it back in. Now if you look at the JPEG versions, it's pretty much, the recovery kind of darkens it a little, but as you can still see on the leg and stuff like that, it's not the same. So once again, here's the final edit of the JPEG, and here's the final edit of the RAW, and you can see how you can take a bad picture from bad to good with RAW a lot easier than you can with JPEG. Now, I usually don't take bad pictures, but sometimes you're in a situation where something needs to be captured and it has to be captured, and you might not have the time to set your camera, and you press the shutter and something might be off. RAW gives you the ability to fix that without taking away from the picture, because then once you export it from your editing program, it will automatically be a JPEG. So there you go. RAW is better than JPEG.